All right, so let's talk a bit about use cases. So there is always this one, right? I think that's a very common use case, these days. Maybe not that useful, but but I think that's I get some of these emails. So. I mean, some of these long emails that I get, it's probably like that. All right, all kidding aside, I sort of think of LLM use cases in two different buckets. There was the sort of daily employee use cases that that you can do with sort of out-of-the-box LLMs. The two big ones in my mind are writing and coding. So any kind of writing task, LLMs are great at that, whether you write a job description or you write a contract draft or some HR communication or whatever, right? Your next book. I mean, I'm sure there's many books on Amazon now that have been written by LLMs. So that's all very good. And coding is probably the very hard-hitting use case in almost every company now for LLMs. So, or products created as LLMs that are assistants or things like that. Beyond that, image generation is great. I mean, marketing and communications, they should all be using the multimodal models for creative of any kind. I mean, and beyond that, there's background research, ideation, lots of other things, right, that you can do. I tried to use it for making a PowerPoint, but as you see, it didn't work, so I had to write my own. I really wish it could, there was a good software that can actually produce nice PowerPoints. So in the meantime, you're stuck with my own, which aren't that good looking. But all right. So that's sort of the left column of sort of out of the box. I mean, you should definitely do all those on the left before you go to the ones on the right, because the ones on the left are cheap. The ones on the right get more expensive. All right, but on the right side, it's more the use cases where you want to use your own data, your own proprietary data for your business or your institution, inside of a solution, and it's more of a solution that's specific to your business and significantly improves one of your key processes. So examples for that are your, making a tool for your customer service reps in your call center, making a tool for your salespeople, giving automated replies to customer inquiries, and there's hundreds of other applications that you can probably think of. As you do that, as you think of those applications, here's sort of some of my ideas of what makes for a good generative AI use case, in your company, and what maybe doesn't, right? So because if you first introduce this and you ask everybody what they want to do, you end up with 200 use cases, and most of them you probably don't want to do. So number one, desired output should be unstructured. If it's structured, you have a cheaper and better way of doing it. So I mean, LLMs are not that great at number-based analytics, at least not today. So then, I mean, it should have a really big business value because contrary to what all the vendors will tell you, this is not cheap, right? So I mean, I asked all of you whether you have all the talent that you want to do this. None of you raised your hand. So that's cost number one. But there's many others: computing costs, there's software costs, there's setup costs. It's not cheap. So make sure you apply it on business use cases that have a substantial amount of value. Otherwise, it's probably not a good idea.